Rohan's starship glided through the darkness of space. His mission was simple on paper. Observe the alien planet of Zandora and report on its culture and technology. Humans had not interacted much with Zandora before, and the Galactic Council wanted information about its defenses, resources, and way of life. Rohan was chosen for his skill, intelligence, and calm nature in danger. He was proud, but he did not know that his life was about to change in ways he could never imagine. The planet below shone like a green and blue jewel. Its forests stretched for hundreds of miles, and its rivers gleamed in the sunlight that broke through its thick atmosphere. The city of Zandora was far in the distance, a cluster of tall towers that sparkled with energy. Rohan's ship descended quietly, hiding among the clouds, and he activated the stealth mode. He was careful not to be seen. Observation required subtlety, and he knew that any mistake could make the aliens distrust humans forever. Rohan landed near a small village on the edge of the forest. He chose this location to understand how the ordinary people of Zandora lived. The village looked peaceful. Children played near the streams, and adults worked in gardens and small workshops. Birds of strange colors flew overhead, singing in melodies Rohan had never heard. The air smelled sweet and fresh. For a moment, he felt calm. This planet was beautiful, unlike any he had ever visited. Then he heard the noise. It was faint at first, a low humming, almost like wind. But the hum became louder, mixed with shouting and panic. Rohan's instincts told him something was wrong. He scanned the village with his binoculars and froze. A group of armored aliens, unlike any in the city, moved through the village. They were rough, with jagged armor and glowing eyes, and they were taking the villagers by force. Rohan's heart raced. One small figure, a young girl, was being dragged toward their ship. Her hands were tied, and she struggled with all her strength. Her name was Myra. He did not know her, but he could see fear in her eyes. The other villagers were unable to fight back. They were being overpowered. Rohan did not hesitate. He activated his ship's silent thrusters and launched toward the intruders. Landing near the attackers, Rohan quickly assessed the situation. The aliens were dangerous, but they were unorganized. He had studied their technology, and he knew that a few precise moves could disrupt their attack. He aimed his energy blaster at a cluster of their weapons and fired. The beam struck with perfect accuracy, creating a shockwave that made the attackers stumble. They roared, surprised by the sudden resistance. Rohan leapt into action. He ran through the village, dodging strikes and using his environment. He smashed a hovering drone that hovered above the girl, cut a rope that tied her hands, and shouted at her to run. Myra hesitated, fear holding her in place, but Rohan extended his hand. She grabbed it, and together they sprinted toward the forest. Behind them, the villagers cheered quietly, grateful but still fearful of retaliation. The forest was dense, filled with enormous trees and thick vines. Rohan led Myra through the shadows, careful not to make noise. He whispered instructions, teaching her how to move silently and hide if needed. Myra's small hand fit perfectly in his, and she trusted him completely. Her eyes, wide with fear, slowly began to show relief. For the first time, she felt hope that someone could protect her. The attackers were not far behind. Rohan could hear their shouts and the rumble of their weapons. He knew he had to act quickly. He found a narrow ravine and guided Myra down. The steep sides made it impossible for the attackers to follow. Once they were hidden, Rohan used a flare to signal his ship. Within minutes, a small transport landed silently in the trees. "Get in," Rohan said. Myra climbed aboard without hesitation. He followed, and the ship rose quietly above the forest. From above, the village looked peaceful again, though Rohan knew the attack would leave scars. Myra looked at him with wide eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "You saved me." Rohan shook his head. "I just did what anyone should do," he replied, though inside he felt pride. Saving a life, especially one so small and innocent, was never easy. He glanced down at the village one last time, silently promising to help the people if he could. As they flew toward the distant city of Zandora, Myra told Rohan about her home. She spoke of her mother, the queen, and the people of her city who valued knowledge and courage. Rohan listened carefully, understanding that this mission was no longer just about observing. It was about protecting a life and, perhaps, influencing the future of an entire world. The stars stretched endlessly around them. Myra leaned against the ship's wall, tired but safe. Rohan kept his eyes on the horizon, already thinking about the challenges ahead. He knew the journey would not be easy. Rogue aliens like the ones they had just escaped were dangerous and unpredictable. But he also knew something important. Humans had qualities that even the most advanced civilizations admired: courage, quick thinking, and a willingness to protect others without expecting reward. For the first time, Rohan understood what humans could bring to the galaxy. Not just technology, not just weapons, but trust, morality, and hope. And now, he had the chance to show it. He looked at Myra, her small face lit by the soft glow of the ship's control panels, and made a silent promise. No matter what dangers came next, he would keep her safe. As the transport carried them closer to the city, Rohan prepared himself for what he would face. The queen might be grateful, but she might also challenge him. Her people had their own rules, their own ways of thinking. He would have to be careful, respectful, and clever. But he was ready. Humans had a place in the stars, and he would prove it. Above all, Rohan felt a deep sense of purpose. This was no longer just a mission for observation. It was a mission of humanity, courage, and hope. And it had only just begun. Rohan guided the small transport through the thick clouds that covered Zandora. Myra sat beside him, still trembling slightly from the attack, but her eyes were wide with curiosity. She pointed at the forests below, at the rivers that sparkled like silver, and at the mountains that rose like silent giants. "I never knew the world could look like this," she whispered. Rohan smiled. "There is beauty in every planet. You just have to look carefully," he said. He glanced at her and realized that despite her fear, she was brave. It was rare for someone so young to face danger and still keep moving forward. He felt a quiet respect for her. They had to reach the city quickly, but the path was not simple. The rogue aliens might follow, and Zandora was full of dangerous areas. Forests were thick with giant plants that could trap a human or alien in their vines. Rivers moved fast, and the mountains hid cliffs and sudden drops. Rohan kept the transport low to avoid being seen and plotted a route through the safest paths he could find. After a few hours, they landed near a small clearing in the forest. Rohan turned to Myra. "We will move on foot from here. It is safer than staying in the transport. If we are caught flying, the attackers will know exactly where we are." Myra nodded. She trusted him completely. She had no fear left, only determination to survive. She took a deep breath and followed Rohan into the forest. The trees were enormous, their trunks wide enough that 3 people could hold hands and still not reach around them. Strange animals watched them from a distance, curious but not hostile. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating patterns on the forest floor. Rohan moved carefully, scanning for danger at every step. He taught Myra to do the same. "Always listen first," he said. "Watch for shadows, and notice how the air moves. If something is coming, it will disturb the world around it." Myra tried to follow his instructions. She crouched behind trees, her small hands touching the ground to feel vibrations. Rohan watched her and nodded quietly. She was learning quickly. She asked questions about everything: the stars, the animals, and even the aliens they might meet. Rohan answered patiently. He wanted her to understand the world, not just survive in it. As they moved deeper into the forest, they encountered their first real challenge. A river blocked their path. Its water was clear but moved quickly, and the rocks were slippery. Myra looked at it and hesitated. "I can't cross that," she said softly. Rohan knelt beside her. "You can. I will help you. Step carefully, and use the rocks as steps. Hold my hand, and we will move together." Myra took a deep breath. She placed her foot on the first rock. It wobbled slightly, but she held Rohan's hand tightly and moved forward. Step by step, they crossed the river. Rohan kept his focus on the water, making sure they did not slip. When Myra reached the other side, she smiled, proud of herself. Rohan smiled back. "See? You are stronger than you think." The forest grew darker as they moved on. The trees were closer together, and sunlight barely touched the ground. Strange sounds echoed around them, some like the wind, some like distant voices. Rohan felt tension in the air. "We are not alone," he whispered. He signaled Myra to be quiet and to follow his lead. Soon, they spotted movement ahead. A group of wild beasts, taller than humans, with sharp claws and glowing eyes, blocked their path. Rohan froze for a moment, calculating. Fighting them would be dangerous, but running might trigger a chase. He decided to act quickly. He grabbed a thick branch and held it like a staff, then whispered to Myra, "Stay behind me. Do exactly as I do." The beasts approached slowly, growling. Rohan moved with calm, showing no fear. He waved the branch, making a circle in front of him, and the beasts stopped, confused. Then he clapped his hands loudly. The sound echoed through the forest. The largest beast took a step back, uncertain. Rohan pushed forward slowly, keeping Myra close. One by one, the beasts retreated into the shadows. Myra gasped, then laughed quietly in relief. Rohan smiled. "Courage and calmness can defeat fear," he said. They continued their journey, moving silently, avoiding open spaces. Rohan taught Myra how to recognize safe paths and how to hide if they were seen. Hours passed. They grew tired, but neither stopped. The goal was clear: reach the city safely. At night, they set up a small camp in a hidden grove. Rohan made a fire using a small device that created sparks without smoke. Myra helped gather dry leaves and sticks. As the fire glowed, Rohan shared stories of Earth and the stars. Myra listened, fascinated. She had never met a human before, and Rohan's knowledge amazed her. He spoke of courage, of teamwork, and of the value of life. Myra felt inspired, realizing that humans were not just different, they were strong in ways she had never known. While Myra slept, Rohan kept watch. He scanned the forest for any signs of danger. The rogue aliens could follow them, and he could not allow that to happen. He thought about the queen, Myra's mother. She would be grateful for her daughter's safety, but she might also worry about the dangers still ahead. Rohan made a silent promise to protect Myra, no matter what. Morning came, and they continued their journey. The forest began to thin, revealing hills and small rivers. The city was still far, but it was visible on the horizon. Rohan felt a mix of relief and determination. They had survived the first challenges, but he knew the journey was not over. As they approached a narrow valley, Rohan spotted movement ahead. Shadows moved between the rocks. He signaled Myra to hide. Carefully, he observed the area. It was a small group of rogue aliens, searching for them. Rohan's mind raced. He could distract them, create a path for Myra, and move quickly to safety. He picked up a large rock and threw it far to the side. The sound echoed through the valley. The aliens looked toward it, confused. Rohan took Myra's hand, and they ran, moving silently between rocks and using shadows for cover. The aliens were fooled and lost their trail. Myra's heart pounded, but she did not scream. She trusted Rohan completely. By the end of the day, they had made significant progress. The city was closer, shining like a beacon. Myra looked at it and smiled. "We are almost there," she said. Rohan nodded. "Yes, and soon you will be safe with your mother." As the sun set, Rohan thought about what he had learned. Humans were not just survivors. They were problem solvers, teachers, and protectors. In Myra's eyes, he saw hope. In the stars above, he saw possibility. And in the path ahead, he saw the start of something greater. The journey had been dangerous, but Rohan knew it would shape both their futures. He held Myra's hand as they moved forward, ready to face whatever came next. The forest whispered around them, the stars guided them, and a human's courage led the way. Rohan and Myra finally reached the edge of the valley, and before them stretched the city of Zandora. The city rose like a cluster of crystals, its towers tall and shining with a soft, blue glow. Bridges of light connected the buildings, and streams of clean water ran through the streets. Flying vehicles moved silently above, carrying citizens to their destinations. Rohan paused for a moment, taking it all in. The city was unlike anything he had ever seen, yet it radiated order and life. Myra's eyes widened. "This is my home," she said quietly. "It is bigger and more beautiful than I remembered." She grabbed Rohan's hand tightly. The thought of returning to her mother made her heart race. She had been frightened for so long, and now safety felt so close. Rohan guided her carefully toward the city gates. The guards at the entrance were tall and wore sleek armor that reflected the sunlight. Their eyes glowed faintly, and they carried weapons that hummed with energy. One guard stepped forward. "State your names and purpose," he said in a clear, calm voice. Rohan stepped forward and bowed slightly, showing respect. "I am Rohan, a human from Earth. This is Myra, your citizen. We come with urgent news. She was in danger, and I protected her from attackers." The guard's eyes widened slightly, impressed by Rohan's bravery and calmness. He signaled to another guard, and they escorted Rohan and Myra into the city. Myra's excitement grew with each step, but she stayed close to Rohan, feeling safe beside him. The streets were filled with citizens of all shapes and sizes. Some had skin that shimmered in different colors, while others had unusual eyes or limbs adapted to the city's unique environment. Despite the differences, everyone moved with purpose, working together in harmony. Rohan could see immediately that this society valued order, intelligence, and respect. They soon reached a large plaza at the center of the city. A tall building of crystal rose in front of them, larger than the others. Rohan knew this must be where the queen lived. Citizens bowed or paused respectfully as they passed. Myra waved quietly to some of her friends, who smiled and nodded. A group of guards led them inside. The interior was bright, with walls that seemed to glow with energy. The floor was smooth and clean, and soft light floated in the air like small stars. Rohan noticed a strange humming sound that vibrated gently through the building, and he realized it came from the energy flowing in the walls. He had never seen technology like this. Finally, they reached a large chamber. At the center sat Queen Solara. She was tall, regal, and calm, with hair that shimmered like silver and eyes that reflected wisdom and kindness. She studied Rohan and Myra carefully, her presence commanding respect without fear. "Myra," she said softly, standing as her daughter ran into her arms. The queen embraced her tightly, relief and love shining in her eyes. Myra clung to her mother, tears falling from her eyes. "I was so afraid," Myra whispered. Queen Solara nodded. "I know, my child. You are safe now." She turned her gaze to Rohan. "And you are the one who saved her. You are a human, yet you showed courage and wisdom beyond measure." Rohan bowed respectfully. "I only did what I thought was right, Your Majesty. Myra's life was in danger, and I could not stand by." The queen studied him for a long moment. "You are brave, and you are honorable. Humans are rare in the galaxy, and yet you remind me why they are valued. Your actions have earned the gratitude of my people and my family." Rohan felt a quiet sense of pride. He had come to this planet to observe, to learn, but instead, he had become part of something greater. He had saved a life and earned the trust of a civilization unlike any other. Queen Solara gestured for them to sit. Rohan and Myra followed. The queen asked detailed questions about the attack, how it happened, what the attackers looked like, and how Rohan managed to protect Myra. He explained everything clearly, without exaggeration, showing both his skill and his honesty. Myra spoke as well, telling her mother about their journey through the forest and the challenges they faced. She described the rivers, the beasts, and the ways Rohan taught her to survive. The queen listened, her eyes reflecting concern, pride, and curiosity. Finally, Queen Solara leaned back and spoke. "Your bravery has proven something important. Humans have qualities that cannot be measured by technology or strength alone. You have courage, quick thinking, and a respect for life that inspires hope. Myra is fortunate to have met you, and my people will benefit from your guidance." Rohan nodded. "I hope to help in any way I can, Your Majesty. I do not wish for reward. I only want to ensure that Myra and your people are safe." The queen smiled, a mixture of admiration and seriousness. "Then we will see how your presence here can shape our future. For now, you must rest. The city is recovering from the attack, and tomorrow will bring more challenges. But I want you to know that your actions have already changed the hearts of many." Rohan and Myra were led to comfortable rooms. Myra's room was filled with soft light and warm colors. She hugged her mother tightly and finally relaxed, feeling the safety she had longed for. Rohan's room was simple but comfortable. He sat quietly, thinking about the events of the day. He realized that saving Myra was only the beginning. The rogue aliens were still a threat, and the city's safety depended on more than just physical defense. He had to understand the aliens' strategies, help train the guards, and perhaps teach the citizens to think in new ways. Humans had a different approach to problem solving, and he could use it to help Zandora thrive. Rohan also understood that his actions had consequences. Queen Solara trusted him, but trust must be earned every day. He could not make mistakes. The safety of Myra, her mother, and perhaps the city itself depended on him. As he looked out the window at the glowing towers, Rohan felt a sense of purpose. He had come to Zandora as an observer, but now he was a protector, a teacher, and perhaps a bridge between humans and this alien world. He felt proud, not for himself, but for what humanity could offer, a mix of courage, wisdom, and hope that could inspire even the most advanced civilizations. Night fell over the city, the towers shining like stars brought to the ground. Rohan rested, knowing that tomorrow would bring new challenges. He had survived the forests, protected Myra, and gained the trust of a queen. But the galaxy was vast, and threats were never far away. Still, he felt ready. Humans had a place in the stars, and he would prove that through action, courage, and honor. Tomorrow, the city would face its next challenge, and Rohan would be at the center, showing that humans were more than just visitors, they were protectors, allies, and examples of what hope could accomplish. For now, he closed his eyes, ready to rest, knowing that the journey had only just begun and that the future of Zandora and its people would depend on the choices he made. The morning sun bathed the city of Zandora in warm, golden light. The towers glowed softly, and streams of energy reflected across the streets like flowing rivers of light. Citizens moved with purpose, yet there was a quiet excitement in the air. Today, the city would celebrate the bravery of a human who had saved the queen's daughter. Rohan walked through the plaza with Myra beside him. She held his hand, her small fingers gripping his tightly, still feeling the lingering fear of the recent attack. But today, her eyes sparkled with anticipation. She had told her friends about the journey, the forest, and the rivers, and now they all wanted to see the hero who had protected her. The plaza filled quickly. Citizens gathered, forming a wide circle around the stage where the celebration would take place. Alien musicians played soft, melodic tunes that floated in the air. Light orbs danced above, casting gentle patterns across the crowd. Rohan observed everything carefully. Though the city was beautiful and advanced, he knew that appearances could hide danger. He stayed alert, his hand resting near his side, ready if trouble appeared. Queen Solara arrived at the center of the plaza. She wore a robe of deep blue that shimmered with energy threads, and her hair flowed like silver light. Her presence commanded respect and attention, yet there was warmth in her eyes as she looked at her daughter and at Rohan. She raised her hands, and the crowd fell silent. Today, the queen began, her voice strong yet gentle, "We honor courage, bravery, and the spirit of protection. A human named Rohan risked his life to save my daughter Myra. Through his actions, he has reminded us all of the value of trust, courage, and loyalty." The citizens erupted in applause, and Rohan felt their admiration. Though he had acted without thought of reward, hearing their appreciation filled him with quiet pride. He glanced at Myra, who beamed with happiness. Her hand squeezed his, and he knew that she truly trusted him. After the queen's speech, the celebration continued with music, dancing, and displays of skill. Citizens demonstrated techniques of defense, showing both agility and strength. Rohan watched carefully, analyzing their methods. They were skilled, but he noticed patterns where strategy could improve their defenses. He made mental notes for later, thinking about how he could help the city prepare for future attacks. Myra approached him. "Do you think the attackers will come back?" she asked softly, worry still in her voice. Rohan knelt to meet her eyes. "Maybe. But we are not helpless. You are safe with your mother, and I will stay to help protect the city." We will be ready if anything happens. Her small face relaxed, and she smiled. I am glad you are here, Rohan. You make me feel safe. Rohan felt a quiet warmth in his chest. Protecting Myra had become more than a duty. It had become personal. He understood the responsibility of keeping her safe, not just from enemies, but from fear itself. The celebration lasted through the day. Citizens brought gifts, small tokens of appreciation, and flowers that glowed softly in the evening light. Myra ran through the crowd, introducing Rohan to her friends and neighbors. She was proud, and Rohan could see the admiration in everyone's eyes. But even amid the celebration, Rohan's mind was alert. He had learned that danger often followed moments of joy. As night fell, the plaza emptied, leaving only the glow of the city lights and the soft hum of energy. Rohan stood at the edge, looking toward the horizon. The rogue aliens could attack again, and he needed to prepare. He studied the city's layout, its walls, and patrol patterns. The people were brave, but their defenses relied heavily on technology. Humans had other strengths: strategy, quick thinking, and adaptability. He would combine both strengths to make the city safe. Queen Solara approached quietly. She had watched Rohan all day, noting his awareness and calmness. You have observed much today, she said. But there is more to protecting a city than bravery in action. Strategy, patience, and understanding the enemy are equally important. Are you prepared to help us in that way? Rohan nodded. I am. I will do everything I can to protect Myra and your city. Humans have ways of thinking that can help, and I will share them. The queen studied him, her eyes thoughtful. It is rare to find such courage and intelligence in one being. You remind me why humans are valued in the galaxy. I hope your presence here is long, for your lessons will benefit many. Rohan felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. He had come as a simple observer, but now he realized that his role was far greater. He was a bridge between humans and Zandora, a teacher and protector. The queen had placed her trust in him, and he would not fail. As they walked through the quiet streets, Rohan noticed the people still patrolling the city walls. Their eyes were alert, but their confidence had grown after the day's celebration. He made a mental note to work with them, to teach new tactics that combined human creativity with alien technology. Myra tugged at his hand. Rohan, will you show me how to fight like you? She asked, her eyes shining with determination. Rohan smiled. Yes, Myra. You are brave, and it is time you learn more. But courage is just the start. Intelligence, observation, and planning are just as important. She nodded eagerly. Together, they began small exercises in the courtyard, learning movement, awareness, and strategy. Myra showed natural skill and quick thinking. Rohan could see that she would grow into a capable leader, someone who could inspire her people as much as he had inspired her. While the city celebrated, Rohan also worked quietly, meeting with guards and leaders to discuss ways to strengthen defenses. He suggested patrol patterns, lookout positions, and emergency plans. Some of the citizens were skeptical at first, unfamiliar with human ways, but Rohan's calm explanations and logical reasoning convinced them. Slowly, he began to earn not just admiration, but trust. As the night deepened, Rohan found a quiet moment on a balcony overlooking the city. The towers glowed, reflecting stars in the sky. He thought about the attack, the journey, and the people he had met. The rogue aliens were still a threat, and he could not forget that. Danger could strike at any moment. But tonight, there was peace. The city slept safely, its citizens dreaming without fear. Rohan understood that humans could do more than survive. They could protect, teach, and inspire. Zandora would not forget this day, and he hoped the lessons he shared would help them face the challenges ahead. He returned to Myra's side, watching her sleep. She had endured fear, exhaustion, and danger, yet she remained strong and hopeful. Rohan knew that protecting her was only part of his responsibility. He would help her grow, teach her, and prepare her for the future. Humans had a gift, the ability to see possibility and create hope even in the darkest moments. And Rohan would use that gift here on Zandora. For now, the city rested, the stars reflected in the glowing towers, and a human's courage quietly became part of the history of Zandora. The city of Zandora had enjoyed a peaceful day, but Rohan remained alert. He knew the rogue aliens who had kidnapped Myra were still a threat. Their attack had been swift and brutal, and it was unlikely they would forget their failure so easily. Rohan spent the morning walking the city walls, observing guards and patrols. He spoke with the commanders, suggesting small changes to patrol routes and lookout positions. The alien guards listened carefully, impressed by his insight. Myra followed him, curious and brave. She had trained a little with Rohan, learning movement, awareness, and strategy. Though still young, she had a natural talent for observation. "Do you think they will come back tonight?" she asked quietly. Rohan shook his head. "I cannot say for sure, Myra. But we will be ready if they do. The city is strong, and so are we. You must remember that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it." Night fell over the city, and the streets grew quiet. Citizens retreated to their homes, and the soft glow of energy lights reflected across the towers. Rohan positioned himself near a high balcony, giving him a clear view of the surrounding forest and valleys. Myra sat beside him, her eyes wide but determined. She had faced fear before, and she would face it again if needed. Hours passed in silence. The wind rustled through the trees, carrying faint sounds that might have been animals or something more. Rohan listened carefully. Then, a shadow moved across the distant tree line. His instincts told him immediately, the attackers were returning. Rohan activated a small device on his belt that sent signals to the city's defense network. Lights along the walls flickered, alerting the guards. Rohan and Myra moved quickly to a secure position, ready to respond. The rogue aliens emerged from the forest, moving silently but with deadly intent. Their eyes glowed, and their weapons hummed with energy. The city's guards reacted immediately, forming defensive lines along the walls and gates. Rohan moved among them, giving instructions. "Focus on the exits. Watch their movements. Do not let them surround you." His calm voice gave confidence, and the guards followed his lead. The first wave of attackers tried to breach the city gates. Rohan aimed carefully, using a combination of human tactics and the city's energy weapons. He targeted key points, creating obstacles that slowed the attackers. Myra watched closely, learning how precision, planning, and courage could change the outcome of battle. The attackers roared and struck with speed, but Rohan and the guards were ready. He moved quickly, predicting their actions. One rogue alien tried to climb a wall, but Rohan signaled the guards to block its path. Another aimed at the city's energy shield, but Rohan activated a diversion, causing the alien to stumble. Step by step, the attackers were repelled. Myra's courage shone as well. She spotted an attacker sneaking around a corner, ready to strike a guard from behind. "Rohan," she shouted, pointing. Without hesitation, she ran forward, alerting the guard and helping stop the ambush. Rohan watched, proud of her bravery. She was learning that action, observation, and quick thinking could save lives. The battle continued for hours. Rohan coordinated with the guards, predicting the attackers' strategies and creating countermeasures. Citizens who were able joined in safely, helping to block entrances and assist the injured. The rogue aliens realized they were outmatched. They had strength, but the city had intelligence, preparation, and unity. Finally, the attackers retreated into the forest. Rohan and the guards watched as the shadows disappeared into the darkness. The city had survived. Myra ran to her mother, relieved and smiling. Queen Solara approached Rohan, her expression a mix of gratitude and admiration. "You have done more than I could have imagined," she said. "Your actions have not only protected my daughter but also shown my people the value of courage, planning, and unity. Humans are indeed remarkable." Rohan shook his head, humbly. "I only did what I thought was necessary. Your city is strong, and your people are brave. Together, we made sure everyone was safe." The queen studied him, her eyes thoughtful. "You are correct. Strength alone does not protect a city. Strategy, knowledge, and trust are just as important. You have shown my people the importance of these qualities. I hope your guidance continues, for there may be more challenges ahead." Myra hugged Rohan tightly. "Thank you for teaching me and protecting us," she whispered. Rohan smiled gently. "You have courage inside you, Myra. Never forget it. Today, you helped protect your city as well." After the battle, the city began to repair itself. Buildings damaged by the attackers' energy weapons were stabilized, and the injured were cared for. Rohan helped coordinate these efforts, showing that humans could contribute in many ways, not just in combat. He explained how to use resources efficiently and how to prioritize safety and repair. Citizens listened carefully, impressed by his knowledge and calm demeanor. The queen held a small meeting with her advisors and Rohan. They discussed the possibility of future attacks and how to strengthen the city further. Rohan suggested new patrol routes, improved lookout positions, and emergency training for citizens. His ideas were practical, simple, and effective. The advisors, initially skeptical of human ways, began to understand that combining human thinking with alien technology could make Zandora nearly invincible. Myra stayed close, learning everything she could. She asked questions, repeated Rohan's instructions, and observed carefully. Her mother watched, proud of her daughter and of the bond she had formed with Rohan. This young human had not only saved her life but also inspired the people of Zandora to think and act differently. As night fell, the city returned to quiet. Rohan walked along the balcony, looking at the glowing towers and the stars above. He thought about the battle, the courage of Myra, and the unity of the citizens. Humans had a gift, the ability to combine intelligence, courage, and hope, and he had seen how it could help an entire civilization. Rohan felt a deep sense of responsibility. Protecting Myra and her city was no longer a simple mission. It was a duty that could shape the future of Zandora. The rogue aliens were still out there, and threats could come at any time. But for now, the city was safe, its people inspired, and a young girl had grown stronger through courage and guidance. He returned to Myra's side. She sat quietly, gazing at the stars. "Do you think they will come again?" she asked softly. Rohan nodded. "Perhaps. But we are ready now. You have courage, knowledge, and strength. And so do the people here. Together, we will face whatever comes." Myra smiled and leaned against him. I feel safe with you, Rohan. I feel like we can do anything. Rohan placed a hand on her shoulder. That is the power of courage and hope. Remember it always. Humans have a place in the stars, not just to survive, but to protect, inspire, and teach. And now, you are part of that too. The city of Zandora slept under the glowing towers, peaceful for the first time since the attack began. But Rohan knew that vigilance was always necessary. He had faced danger before, but he had also learned something more important: humans could make a difference, not just through strength, but through courage, intelligence, and the willingness to act for others. The rogue aliens would return, perhaps, but the people of Zandora were no longer alone. With Rohan's guidance, they had learned a new way to protect themselves, to think strategically, and to work together. And Myra, the young girl who had once been terrified, now stood strong, ready to face the future with courage and hope. Rohan smiled quietly, looking out at the stars. The battle was over, but the journey had only begun. And he knew that humans had a role to play in shaping the destiny of Zandora and beyond. The city of Zandora had regained a sense of calm, though Rohan remained vigilant. After the battle with the rogue aliens, the streets were alive with activity. Citizens repaired buildings, trained for defense, and shared stories of the courage they had witnessed. Myra followed her mother closely, yet she spent time with Rohan, asking questions and practicing the lessons he had taught her. Queen Solara summoned Rohan to the central hall, a large room filled with soft glowing light and energy streams running along the walls. She stood by a tall window, looking out at the city. Her expression was calm, yet her eyes reflected the weight of leadership. "Rohan," she began, her voice gentle but commanding, "you have shown courage, skill, and wisdom beyond what I expected. My daughter is safe, my people are inspired, and our city has learned a new way to prepare for the future. For this, I am grateful." Rohan bowed. "I only did what I thought was right, Your Majesty. Myra's life was in danger, and protecting her was my responsibility." The Queen studied him carefully. "It is more than that. You have shown qualities that humans bring to the galaxy: intelligence, courage, and moral strength. You have taught my people that protecting one another is not only duty but honor. You have changed the way we think and act." Rohan felt a mix of pride and humility. He had come to Zandora as an observer, a visitor. Now, he was being acknowledged as a protector and advisor. The weight of her words impressed upon him the importance of his presence. The Queen stepped closer. "I wish to make a request, Rohan. I ask that you remain in Zandora, not as a guest, but as a guide and protector. Your skills and knowledge are rare, and your presence can help prepare our people for challenges we may face in the future." Rohan hesitated. Staying meant leaving Earth behind, possibly for years. His mission had been to observe, not to settle in an alien world. Yet, looking at Myra, who watched him with wide eyes filled with trust, he felt a strong pull to accept. Her safety and the city's well-being seemed intertwined with his presence. "Your Majesty," he began, "I am honored by your request. I did not come here expecting recognition, nor did I plan to stay long. But I understand the responsibility. I will stay and help prepare your city for the future, if you wish me to do so." The Queen's eyes softened. "You understand, then, that this is not a simple position. There will be threats, decisions, and challenges that may test your resolve. You will not only protect Myra and my people, but you will also guide them to think, act, and defend themselves." "I understand," Rohan said firmly. "I will do everything I can." Humans have faced challenges across the stars, and I have learned that courage and intelligence together can overcome almost anything. I will teach your people, protect them, and help your city thrive." The queen nodded. She gestured for Rohan to walk with her across the balcony overlooking the city. Below, lights reflected in the streams and towers glowed softly in the evening. Citizens moved through the streets, their energy calm but alert, inspired by the bravery they had witnessed. "You have taught Myra courage, Rohan," the queen said quietly. "But more than that, you have shown her the value of thinking carefully, observing the world, and making choices with both heart and mind. She will grow strong under your guidance." Rohan looked at Myra, who had followed them at a distance. She smiled and waved. "I will continue to teach her," he said. "She is smart, brave, and willing to learn. She will do well." The queen turned her attention back to him. "Your presence here is also a lesson for my people. They have technology, strength, and intelligence, but they sometimes lack the flexibility that humans possess. You have reminded them that thinking differently, adapting quickly, and caring for one another are just as important as any weapon or tool." Rohan nodded. "That is the strength humans bring. We learn from challenges, we protect life, and we think in ways that sometimes surprise others. Combining your strengths with ours can make the city and its people nearly unstoppable." The queen smiled, a mixture of pride and relief in her expression. "Then it is settled. You will remain here as a trusted protector and advisor. Your guidance will shape Myra, the citizens, and perhaps even the future of Zandora itself." Rohan felt the weight of her words. This was more than a role, it was a responsibility that could shape generations. He had faced danger, protected a life, and earned the trust of a queen. Now, he would face new challenges, teaching, planning, and ensuring the safety of an entire civilization. Myra ran forward and embraced him. "I am glad you are staying," she whispered. Rohan hugged her gently. "I will always be here for you, Myra. Together, we will make sure your city is safe, and you will grow strong." The queen watched silently, her eyes reflecting both trust and gratitude. She had placed her faith in a human, knowing that his courage, intelligence, and moral strength could guide her people through unknown dangers. That evening, Rohan began his first lessons with the city's young cadets and guards. He taught them to observe carefully, plan for every possibility, and act decisively. The lessons were simple but effective. He demonstrated how to combine their advanced technology with human strategy, showing how teamwork, thinking ahead, and courage could overcome even the most determined enemy. Myra joined him, absorbing every detail. She was eager to learn, asking questions and practicing techniques. Rohan admired her determination. She had survived a dangerous journey, faced fear, and learned quickly. With guidance, she would become a capable leader, able to protect herself and inspire others. As night deepened, the city grew quiet. The lights of the towers reflected the stars, and a calm energy flowed through the streets. Rohan looked out over the city and realized the magnitude of what lay ahead. Protecting Myra was only the first step. Teaching, guiding, and defending an entire civilization would require patience, courage, and determination. Yet he felt ready. Humans had a unique ability, the capacity to combine knowledge, morality, and action in ways that could change the future. Rohan understood that his mission on Zandora was more than protecting a child, it was about showing the galaxy the strength of humanity. Queen Solara approached one last time before night fell. "Rest now, Rohan. Tomorrow will bring new lessons, challenges, and opportunities. But know this, Your presence here is already shaping the future, and your courage has inspired us all. Rohan nodded. I will be ready, Your Majesty. I promise to protect, teach, and guide. Your city and your daughter will be safe. Myra fell asleep that night, her small face peaceful, knowing that Rohan was by her side. Rohan sat quietly, looking at the stars. He thought about the journey that had brought him here, from observing a distant planet to becoming a protector, a teacher, and an example of humanity's courage and wisdom. The rogue aliens might return. Challenges would come. But Rohan knew that with courage, knowledge, and hope, humans could face anything. Zandora was no longer just an alien city. It had become a place where human bravery, intelligence, and moral strength could flourish, teaching others that the galaxy could be safer, brighter, and stronger when humans were involved. And so, under the glow of the city and the watchful stars above, Rohan prepared for the future. He would remain on Zandora, protecting Myra, guiding the citizens, and proving that humanity could be a light in even the darkest corners of the universe. The city of Zandora had transformed in the weeks following Rohan's arrival. Citizens moved with renewed confidence, guards patrolled with strategic precision, and even young children practiced lessons in awareness and courage. The rogue aliens had not returned, but everyone knew that threats in the galaxy were never permanent. Rohan had prepared the city for what could come, and the people of Zandora had learned to think and act like defenders, not just residents. Myra had grown in confidence and skill. She moved with purpose, understanding both the city and the lessons Rohan had taught her. She no longer feared the forests, the rivers, or the unknown. Each step she took was guided by knowledge, observation, and courage. Rohan watched her closely, proud of how she had learned to trust herself and make decisions under pressure. Queen Solara summoned Rohan and Myra to the palace balcony. The city below glowed softly in the evening light, and the streams of energy reflected across the towers like rivers of light. Citizens moved peacefully, working, training, and celebrating the progress they had made together. Rohan, the queen began, her voice calm but filled with warmth, your presence has changed Zandora. You have taught my people courage, strategy, and the importance of protecting one another. Myra has grown strong under your guidance, and the city is safer because of you. Rohan bowed. I am honored, Your Majesty. My goal was never recognition. I only wished to protect Myra and help your people understand what humans can contribute. The Queen smiled. You have done more than that. You have inspired hope, and you have shown that the galaxy is stronger when different worlds work together. Your actions will be remembered for generations. Myra ran forward and hugged Rohan. Thank you for staying, Rohan. You made me brave, and you helped my city become stronger. I want to keep learning from you. Rohan hugged her gently. And I will always guide you, Myra. Courage is not about never being afraid, but about acting despite fear. You have learned that well. The Queen looked at them both. Rohan, I must ask something of you. Your mission on Zandora has come to an important point. You have prepared my people, taught my daughter, and strengthened the city. It is time to consider what comes next. Will you continue to stay, or will you return to your home among the stars? Rohan paused, thinking carefully. Staying meant a permanent connection to this world, a life unlike any he had planned. Returning to Earth would allow him to continue other missions, to explore, and to share knowledge with humans and other civilizations. Yet, as he looked at Myra and the city, he realized something important. His purpose was not just exploration. It was protection, guidance, and inspiration. And here, his presence mattered most. "Your Majesty," he said finally, "I will remain for now. My place is here, guiding your people, helping Myra grow, and ensuring that Zandora is prepared for the future. Humans have a role to play, and I want to use my knowledge and courage to protect and teach." The Queen's eyes shone with gratitude. "Then it is decided. Your presence will continue to be a blessing for my city and my people." Over the following days, Rohan worked with the citizens to improve the city's defenses further. He introduced new patrol systems, observation techniques, and emergency protocols. The guards adapted quickly, combining their advanced technology with human tactics. Citizens began training in small groups, learning to assist in emergencies and understanding the importance of teamwork. Rohan's lessons were practical and simple, yet their impact was profound. Myra trained alongside him, mastering skills in observation, strategy, and awareness. She practiced responding to unexpected situations, guiding others with calm and confidence. Rohan noticed how quickly she understood his teachings, often anticipating challenges before he spoke. The Queen watched her daughter proudly, realizing that Myra would grow into a capable leader who could protect her people and inspire courage. One evening, as the city rested under the glow of energy lights, Rohan and Myra walked along the balcony. The stars above reflected in the towers, and the streams of energy flowed like rivers of silver. Myra spoke softly. "Rohan, do you think we are ready if the rogue aliens return?" Rohan nodded. "Yes. The city is strong, the people are prepared, and you have grown braver than ever. Even if danger comes, we will face it together. Courage, intelligence, and planning make us strong." Myra smiled, a mixture of pride and confidence. "I feel like I can do anything now." "You can," Rohan said gently. "And remember, courage is always paired with thought. You have learned that well, Myra. That is why humans and Zandora can work together so well." The Queen joined them on the balcony. "You have shown what humans can contribute to the galaxy," she said. "Not only bravery but wisdom, guidance, and hope. Your presence has made my people stronger, and your lessons will echo for years to come." Rohan bowed respectfully. "I am honored, Your Majesty. But it is the courage of your people and the bravery of Myra that has made this possible. I have only guided what was already strong." The Queen smiled warmly. "Then we are fortunate that guidance and courage have met. Zandora is safer, and its people are wiser because of your actions." In the weeks that followed, Rohan continued to teach, train, and plan with the city's leaders. Myra's confidence grew daily, and the citizens adapted to their new knowledge. Even small children were learning observation skills and basic safety protocols, ensuring that courage and awareness became part of the culture. One morning, as the sun reflected off the towers, Rohan observed the city from the highest balcony. The streets were peaceful, citizens moved confidently, and the energy streams flowed without interruption. He realized that his journey, beginning with a simple mission to observe, had grown into something far greater. He had protected a life, guided a young girl, strengthened an entire civilization, and shown the galaxy the value of human courage and wisdom. Myra ran up beside him, her eyes shining. "Rohan, look. The city is strong, and everyone is ready for anything." Rohan smiled. "Yes, Myra. Your people have learned well. And you have grown stronger than you realize. Today, Zandora is not just safe, it is prepared for the future." The Queen joined them, placing a hand on Rohan's shoulder. "You have done more than I could have imagined. Your courage, intelligence, and moral strength have changed Zandora forever. Thank you, Rohan. You will always have a place in our city and in our history. Rohan felt a quiet pride. He had come to Zandora as a visitor, and now he was part of its story. Myra had grown into a capable young leader, the citizens had learned courage and strategy, and the city itself was stronger than ever. Humans had left their mark not with domination, but with guidance, protection, and hope. As the sun set, casting warm colors across the towers, Rohan looked at Myra and the city below. The rogue aliens might return one day, but Zandora would be ready. Citizens would defend themselves, guided by courage, intelligence, and the lessons of a human who had risked everything to protect one child and inspire an entire civilization. For Rohan, this was not the end of his journey. It was a new beginning, a life dedicated to protecting, teaching, and guiding. And as the stars reflected in the glowing city, he knew that humans had a role in the galaxy that went far beyond observation. They could inspire courage, create hope, and leave a lasting legacy among the stars. Myra took his hand, and together they looked out over the city. "We are ready," she said confidently. "Yes," Rohan replied. "We are ready. And the galaxy is stronger because of it." The city of Zandora rested under the stars, safe, inspired, and prepared. And in that moment, humanity's courage and wisdom became a beacon of hope for a world far beyond Earth, proving that even in the vast universe, one life, one decision, and one human heart could make all the difference.